Hey everyone, it's Parviz with the Clammr team. We're excited to let you know about a new way to get even more exposure for your podcasts through Clammr. We've set up several dedicated Clammr channels that exclusively feature previews of podcast episodes. Users can listen to these channels to decide what podcast they want to jump into. We've made this video to show you how to get your podcast into one of these preview channels. Many of you are already in other editor channels on Clammr. You will remain in those channels. These preview channels are just an additional way to get exposure. So a little more about the preview channels. They're dedicated channels on Clammr that exclusively feature previews of podcast episodes. The idea is that a user is going to press play for the channel, hear a series of clammrs that are capped at 18 seconds, and then jump into an episode that they like. Typically, there's going to only be one preview clammr per episode. There are some rare exceptions where if it's a very long show that's broken out into clear, distinct segments, there may be more than one. But general rule is one preview clammr per episode. The Clammr team is going to decide which previews to include in the channel. And currently we have 3 preview channels: top storytelling podcasts, top talk podcasts, which include any interviews and roundtable discussion format podcasts, and then finally top business podcasts. So the way to get into a preview channel is super easy. All you need to do is add a tag in the description section of your Clammr. And it needs to be one of the 6 tags that are listed here: comedy story intro, business story intro, or just generally story intro. We would think that most of you, if you have a storytelling oriented podcast, are going to use story intro, unless yours happens to be comedy or business oriented. Likewise, for talk podcasts, which are interviews and group discussions, it'll be hashtag comedy talk intro, hashtag business talk intro, and hashtag talk intro. Again, we would expect that most of you who have talk format are going to end up using hashtag talk intro. So you just simply type one of these hashtag terms into the description and then post your Clammr. I'll show you on my own phone just to make it super clear. So I'm going to launch Clammr. I'll go to the menu on the upper left, and then I'll hit the record button to create a Clammr. In this case, I'm going to go to my podcasts and pull in a podcast episode. Say yes to the metadata. Now it's going to generate a waveform, and I'll be able to scrub around in there. In this case, I don't particularly care what part, so I'll grab a piece here and then go hit next. And here you have the title that you've always had at the top, and then the description section, which normally gets auto-populated with information, metadata about the podcast that gets pulled in. So all you would do here is enter one of those 6 hashtag terms that we went through. So in this case, I'll do as an example, talk intro. Capitalization doesn't matter, though we suggest using it just to keep the spelling straight. And then you would simply hit post. And once that goes up on Clammr, you'll see it. Here we'll see my Clammr that went up. It has talk intro as a hashtag term. And our team will look for Clammrs that are using those 6 hashtags and put them into the channels as they appear. A few guidelines on your preview Clammrs. First, make sure you give a clear statement of what you're covering or some sort of teaser. Avoid generic previews that are just saying, hey, it's me, and I've got a great show today. Try to give it a little bit of a feel for what's in it, whether it's a summary recap or just some sort of hook. Second, tag only one of your Clammrs from each episode. So you may make 4 or 5 Clammrs for a given episode that have great highlights and moments. Pick only the one that really is an intro to that episode, a lead-in that's going to act as a trailer for somebody to click to hear more, and only tag that one. And finally, avoid things like loud music, harsh sounds, and impersonal announcer radio-like voices. This might work in other contexts, but as part of a stream of Clammrs that are only 18 seconds where somebody's listening continuously, it can get rather taxing to have somebody really shouting at them or putting in jarring sounds. So we're generally not going to include any preview clips that try to do that. Hopefully, this will be a really helpful way for many of you to get more exposure on Clammr. Definitely get in touch with us. If you have any technical questions, reach out to support@clammr.com. Until next time, Clammr on!